I was stump grinding for about 4 hours the other day and the machine overheated. It's the first time it's ever done that. I've bush hogged for many hours before without it overheating in the heat of the summer. So this time I was a little surprised that it overheated. It shuts itself off when it overheats, so you can't do any damage to it. So first thing I checked was, of course, the grill on the top. It was open and clear. I then checked the AC condenser. Not totally plugged, I can still see daylight through it, but filthy. The intercooler, well, maybe that's the radiator. No, that's the intercooler. So intercooler next. Again, a little bit of daylight through it, but still plugged. And then beneath it, the radiator, which I believe will be plugged. I have, of course, started to remove stuff, which is not the best of videos to start halfway through. But 2 pins go through that little bracket there. This, of course, goes over the top. The pin holds it in. You take both pins out and then you snake it up at the front and then towards you, and then hinge it up out of the way. The intercooler does the same thing. However, it's a lot tighter and will not come past this bracket, or at least it appears to not want to come past that bracket. So I may have to take that bracket off, but we will see in just a moment. So it will come out with the water overflow removed, just tucked up there, and the one hose taken off down here. But it will not come out, and there is insufficient flexibility in the hoses without removing these hoses, I think. It'll move, and it's stiff. These are intercooler hoses, so I expected them to pop off here at the end, but try as I might, they will not pop off. They're loose as if it's a rubber seal, and it should only be a rubber seal, but they won't come off, and I cannot get them out of this end here either. But I can undo that nut that's inside there. I can undo this, and I can undo that, take those hoses off, and then pop that hose out of its bracket and allow this to be removed completely and cleaned properly. I'm so glad all the Bobcat experienced people were having a good chuckle at me for the last 10 seconds, but no, you do not have to undo those pipes. And these pipes do have movement in them, and they do rotate at the seals either side. That intercooler is filthy but not blocked, but beneath it is, of course, the radiator. Holy smokes! How was this machine ever not overheating for the longest time? So I've owned it for 10 years. I've never cleaned this out, because I look at the top and I think, hey, that's good. Yeah, right. This gets wet or gets condensation on it, the dust goes on it, the dust turns into mud, and hey presto, the top one can be clean, the second one can be relatively clean, and the bottom one, of course, is just totally plugged. So that's a good thing. I do believe that is the cause of my overheat. So I'm going to vacuum it and not power wash it until after I've vacuumed, because I'd like to get most of that off before. And then when it's all spiffy clean, put it all back together again. It'll go back in easier the second time. I'm still vacuuming. It's pretty clean. But the surprise is all of the things that you find inside. So it's still not clean yet. It's just, it's amazing the amount of stuff. And of course I'll take that vent off and I'll vacuum out the intake for the cab. The AC works well, but it'll be glad of having more flow. The interesting thing is, yes, this was empty when I started to vacuum out the radiator. Can you believe that? So clean this out, carry on vacuuming, then hose it out, then put it back together. As you can imagine, reassembly is a lot easier than Disassembly because of the lack of filth obscuring the view for where things are supposed to pop in. So radiator stays in. You could take it out, I suppose, if you wanted to take the hoses out and drain the system and all that nonsense. But intercooler comes off, the tabs go through the hole at the back. They pop down over the top of those brackets that take the pin that I've got to put in later. Right there. AC condensers next, nice and clean. It goes into the same holes. The tabs are lower on it. Tabs go at the back, brackets pop over the front. Pins go back in. All buttoned up, nice and clean, back in one piece. I'm going to let it warm up before I put it in a dusty environment, because if the heat exchangers are soaking wet and dust gets on them, it clogs them straight up instantly. So do let it warm up before create dust. I just have to move some mulch today, so that'll be easy. But when you think of the simplest job you can do, this is not the simplest, but it's one of them. Start to finish, probably 45 minutes, and that's with me figuring it out as I go. And it means engine will not overheat, which is a good thing. Engine will run cooler, which is a better thing. Intercooler will work way more effectively, hence more power. That's a very good thing. And then finally, condenser will work more efficiently, and the AC will work better. All of those things are essential, and I'm sure a Bobcat mechanic is laughing and saying, yeah, that's why you clean all this out every month or so. It's been 10 years. It was a little overdue, but it's all done. Everything's good. Well, a small postscript is that since I cleaned out all that stuff and I could see some filth poking out from behind my cabin intake, all I ever clean out is the inside filter. I don't know why I didn't think there'd be one on the outside. Totally blocked and filthy. The inside of it is brand spanking new and beautiful. The outside of it, I can't believe I even got airflow, but I did. It's amazing. 10 years, never cleaned any of this, and not because I'm abusive, just because I didn't think about it. So I'm going to clean that out, I'm going to clean that out, and we'll put that together. Everything's good. This grill, of course, just comes off with 2 screws. They just screw in there at the ends. So, simple job, big improvement. And I can't wait to get in it and start doing something and feel how chilly that AC really